In this video, I have 7 trends that are trending. They're trends that are trending right now, but are actually classics. And then I have 7 that are trends that are trending right now. Big trends. We all love them. Well, I love some of them, but they are trends and they do have a shelf life and they go kind of in and out of style. This is not like a good and bad or what to wear, what not to wear. I would never tell you not to wear anything that you love anyway, but it's kind of like a, let's look at fashion, like a bird's eye view. Look at it in terms of historically what has had staying power and historically what hasn't. And what I would do with this information is I feel like 80% of your clothing budget should be kind of spent in this classic category. And if you like any of these classics that are trending right now is a great time to find them since they're trending, they're all over the place. And then put 20% of your budget towards these trends that you may love right now, but in 3 years you might be a little bit tired of and you may have to put away. You don't want to spend all your money in this category. So I mentioned in my out of style video that the all over logos, like logo mania, is kind of faded out. You know, it's not really the thing right now. And quiet luxury has taken over. Quiet luxury is always classic, will never go out of style. But I love that it's trending right now. And so what that means is that a lot of these big brand names are really focusing on more of the toned down versions of their bags or, you know, their items, as opposed to it being a bag with like logos all over the place. And so I like that better, to be honest. I like it when there's maybe a little logo, but it's not completely covered. And I love that quiet luxury look. Everything fits just right. It's probably in more classic colors, more classic styles. Maybe there's like an Hermes belt, or maybe the handbag is a very quiet, subtle YSL, but there's nothing loud about it. Very sophisticated, very polished, very old money. Elevated basics are a big trend right now, and they have been trending for a long time. But again, I mean, basics never go out of style. But I love that this is a trend right now, because that means that, like, if you're trying to find basics and really work on the backbone of your closet, which is usually your basics, it's a really great time to go out and find them. Because since it's trending, pretty much every brand has their line of basics. And so you can really find one that really works for you and your style. I mentioned in another video, I'm really loving the heavier weight crew neck basic tees. That's just kind of what I'm into right now. So I've had a pretty easy time finding some that I really, really love. Elevated basics also just means wearing an outfit of basics, but maybe you add a belt or you have a blazer, or maybe it's got an interesting color combination. Maybe there's some tailored pants in that outfit, maybe some tailored shorts, but it's all very balanced and looks very sophisticated. Tube dresses are a trend that I really feel like is a classic. Now hear me out. Maybe I shouldn't call them tube dresses. Let's say a strapless, solid color maxi dress, maxi gown. Now that sounds a little more classic, I guess. The maxi length is very in right now. Column dressing is very in right now, which means like it just kind of looks like your whole outfit is a column. So maybe that's a maxi skirt, maxi dress, but it's not high-low, it's not ruffled edges. It's a very sophisticated look. And if you think about it, a strapless, solid color dress, it's in a classic color like red or navy or black, or even, you know, something more neutral, or like an off-white, is never going to go out of style. Ballet flats. They went out of style for a number of years, but it wasn't really exactly the ballet flat itself that went out of style. It was more so how we were wearing them. Like we were wearing them with midi skirts, which is not a very flattering look for a lot of people, or we were wearing them with skinny jeans and like a tunic and a circle scarf. There's ways that we were wearing them that made them feel like they went out of style, and I also felt like they went out of style too, but when I look back, it's more so the way that we were wearing them. So ballet flats are back in a big way, and it's more so the almond toe or like a pointy toe, but just your general ballet flat, it doesn't ever go out of style. I do think that this is one that you kind of need to pair with items that are more on trend with, not trendy, but just more on trend with the way fashion is going. Like instead of your skinny jeans, try a straight leg. And instead of a midi skirt, try a knee length skirt, or, you know, a mini skirt. I think there are ways to style the ballet flats to make them look really fresh and feel very classic. And I definitely think they fall into the category of trends that don't really ever go out of style. Leather jackets, leather pants. Leather has been on trend for a few years now, and it's one of those things that even though we might see it kind of fading into the background, I do not ever see leather looking out of style. I think I've mentioned this in another video, a head to toe leather look. Now that's something different. That could definitely start looking, you know, like a look. That's definitely a look that you can do. But just a leather jacket or a leather pair of pants in a classic style, that really is something that doesn't ever go out of style, no matter if it's trending or not. I've said this before, but I really think now is a great time. If you've been looking for leather or faux leather pants, now is such a great time to look for them because a lot of places are on sale. They're moving things out to get spring items in. And I always think leather is a great item to add to your outfit to make it look a little bit more interesting. I mentioned in another video that pencil skirts are kind of coming back, and they're definitely never out of style. This is very much a classic item, but they really just weren't on the forefront of fashion for a while, but now they're kind of coming back. And so what that means is you'll be able to find them a lot more places. And pencil skirts can be a very classic, timeless look. I think they also get really very much associated with the corporate work attire look, which is great for going to work. But I love them as well with like a looser fit, more casual top. You know, you can wear them with boots, you can wear them with ballet flats, you can wear them with sandals. And it doesn't have to be just your simple traditional black pencil skirt. You can, you know, get this in a color, you can get it with a slit in the side, you can get it with sequins. Like there's lots of different options for the pencil skirt, but the style in and of itself is very classic. Okay, this is the last trend of the classic trends category, and it's, you may not agree with me here, but hear me out. And it's metallics. So metallics are very much a trend right now. They've been trending, metallic pants, you know, metallic dresses. And so with metallics, I don't think all metallics are necessarily classic, but I do think a metallic shoe or a metallic bag or even maybe a metallic pant, maybe. If it's a classic style and it's like gold or silver, something that's, you know, toned down, I do think that could still be a very classic item that won't ever look out of style. Let me know what you think. Do you think metallics are classic? Obviously not all of them, but do you think some metallics can be labeled as classic, or do you just think, oh, this is a trend and we won't see it in 3 years? So now let's move on to 7 trends that are trending right now, and I love some of them, but they are trends. Like whether we like it or not, they are here now. Within some unknown amount of time, 3 years, 5 years, maybe 1 year, they will have been, people get tired of them, they start to be a little oversaturated, and they just kind of start to move out. Okay, the first trend that is actually a trend, and you know it and I know it, but it's Uggs. Uggs have made a comeback. They were humongous when I was maybe in high school or something like that, and then they like kind of went away. People were just wearing them, but not really as a fashion statement. And now Uggs are back. Uggs are back. I haven't seen anyone wear it with their bathing suit like they did back in the day, but I'm sure that's coming. And Uggs are great. They're very comfortable. I've never been an Ugg person, but I know that they are very comfortable and they have a place in this world and they have a place on your feet. But they are a trend. Let's talk about jeans for a second. I think straight leg, it is here to stay. It will be a classic. I do think straight leg is a classic. I think it'll be a very long time before straight leg goes out of style, or does kind of like the skinny jeans did, where they were in style for 15 years and then they kind of like, oh, there's more things we could wear. So I think those are here to stay. But what I do feel like is definitely a trend, and it's happening right now. It's a huge trend. But I do think that eventually it will be, we will look back and be like, oh yeah, that was 2023, is the really baggy jeans. Low rise, baggy jeans. I'm not wearing them. A lot of you guys aren't wearing them. They're not practical a lot of the time. And I do think baggy jeans are a big trend. Celebrities wearing them and they're great and it's wonderful, but I do think it is a trend that'll be here for a few years and then it'll probably kind of start swinging back the other way. This next one, it's another denim item, but it's a big trend. And I think this is just gonna be a very big trend for this year and on into next year. You might end up with one by the end of the year. I actually already have one. And it's the denim maxi skirt. I really love this. I love the denim maxi skirt. I think it can be styled very beautifully. I think you do have to be careful to make sure you don't look frumpy in it, to make sure you have like a, you know, a top that's balanced with the denim skirt. But I love this look. It can be very classy and just very stylish and very interesting. But I do think that eventually, you know, 2 years, 5 years, whatever it is, the hemlines will start to shorten back up. will kind of go back to more classic denim skirts, like the, thigh length or knee length, and denim maxi skirts will be a thing that people wore in 2023 and 2024, maybe 2025, and then it kind of faded out. Does that mean you shouldn't go and buy a denim maxi skirt if you freaking love it? Absolutely not. This is a great trend. I think it can look beautiful, and even whenever it's not trending, if you still love it, obviously still wear it. I mean, I'll still wear mine. I guess I have a lot of denim in this video. I didn't realize that until just now, but this next one that I see, and I think it actually might happen sooner rather than later, but it's that crossover pants, like where the button looks like it's kind of been like hacked, like it was like a jean hack for if your pants were too big, and it's crossed over. That has been a trend for a while, maybe a couple of years, and I feel like it's getting a little bit saturated. Like I feel like you can find that kind of all over the place, and whenever that happens, that kind of signals that people will start getting tired of it eventually and then be like, oh my gosh, I just want the regular kind. But I do think that's a trend. It's not a classic, it's a trend. Eventually people will kind of stop liking that. This one is going to ruffle some feathers, and I don't even know why, because I'm not telling you not to wear it. I'm just telling you that I just really think it's a trend, and it's been a trend for a long time, and I think actually will stay here for even longer. I think this is going to be a long decade-long trend that's happening, and I have a gazillion tops like this. But I do think it's a trend, and it will be, will eventually go the other way, but it's cutouts. How long have we been wearing cutouts? We've been talking about cutouts. I remember doing a video about them a couple years ago. It's like cutouts is a big trend this year. But it's like the trend that just kept on keeping on, and everything has some version of a cutout now, which I really like this. I think they can look very, kind of sexy, but in a subtle way. That a lot of them aren't very risque. They're just kind of like a little cutout here at the shoulder, or, a little cutout here, at your elbow or like your chest, but they're very subtle, and so they're very wearable. And I think it's kind of like how everyone used to love the cold shoulder, because it was like you could still wear a bra, you're still covering up, but you just had a little skin showing. But I do think this is a trendy trend. I think it's a trend that's gonna last a decade, maybe even more. It's already lasted quite a few years, and it's still going very strong, and it keeps morphing into something else. I think that's why it keeps going so strong. So it's definitely one that has had a lot of staying power, and it's still here. If you have a cutout top you're eyeing and you're really loving that, it's not going anywhere for a while, trust me. I would not buy it anyway if you really love it, but just, I don't think this is one that's like on its way out or anything like that. Corset tops, they have been trending for a little while now, like a few years. They started off with straight corset tops, very unwearable for people like myself. But then it kind of morphed into corset style tops that are very wearable. And I actually think this is a really beautiful look and a great way to update your style and just kind of elevate it a little bit. But I do think it's a trend. In 3 to 5 years, we'll kind of get tired of it, and it will be something else. It won't be a classic that will never look out of style, in my personal opinion. This next one speaks near and dear to my heart because I love it, and I love doing it. I was doing it a lot more maybe a year ago than I am now. But I do love this trend, but I know that it is a trend, and it will eventually kind of look a little bit dated because it already has before. And what that is color blocking. So do you remember 2012? We were all color blocking and wearing bubble necklaces and putting mint green with coral or with yellow, and that was like, it was kind of like more like pastel color blocking. So that went away for a while, and then somewhere around 2020, color blocking came back, but in a different way, more like brighter colors, deeper colors, more pigmented colors, and it's so beautiful. I really love color blocking. Some people can do it so amazingly well. And I will personally not ever stop wearing that until I personally get tired of it, as with all these trends. But I do see that as being something that we're doing right now, and it's really fun. And eventually we will look back and it'll be like, oh yeah, that was what we were doing in 2020 and 2023. And that was really great. And I remember that year because of what I was wearing. And it is it's a trend. It's not a classic look. It is definitely a trend. So what did you think? Do you feel like I classified these right? I do think the fashion world is so fun, and trends are a lot of fun. And let me just put it to you this way. If you lived through the 80s and you were like a teenager in the 80s, You know, the 80s was a very specific decade with very specific hair, very specific clothes. Do you think anybody really regrets wearing that? They might look at pictures and be like, man, that had to have been 1982. It was a fun time. It was a great style, and they probably have good memories of wearing whatever it is they were wearing. If all we did was wear, you know, white shirts and black bottoms, and that's all anyone ever wore, it would just be so boring. It would really be boring. I don't want everybody to just wear classic styles all the time because it would not be interesting. Trends are really fun. So let me know what you think, and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, or thumbs down if you didn't. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I will see you next time.